Yo, what up, DT? Let's get to it. Yeah. Hit him with the hook first.
Full court press, 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 full court press.
NBA talk all night on the press.
Full court press, 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 full court press.
NBA talk all night on the press.
Welcome to the show. We done seen folks move from the west to the east coast. Tired of the cities, so they head to the beach shore. While the rest of the colleagues request to proceed forward. Player movements always lead to improvements. That's what's hot now. Boom pow, another star gone. Yeah, he long gone. We need more leaders like Caesar. They focused on the prize. Legends don't die, even if they long gone in the skies. Perform within the boundary lines, and you're good to go. Be a man, don't be out there just playing for show. Cause we'll be in the barbershop talking all week. Topic to topic, the media don't sleep. Put that S on your chest, pick up the phone, and make sure that you call into the full court press, full court press, full court press.
What's up, everybody? This is Dave Thompson from RJJ.com. This is the Full Court Press Radio Podcast, NBA Preview Edition. So we are taking the next 30 podcasts to start to review all the NBA teams going to training camp. That's going to tip off in September, first part of October. We got the World Cup going on, and so now it's really the part of the year where we're under 30 days away from tipping off the season. Preseason format of the NBA season starting off in October. It's like late October, but it's to the point now where we're just getting ready. It's one of the best times of the year. I know NFL fans are, talking about the preseason and everything else, getting ready for regular season coming up in NFL wise, but really it's NBA time. And if you're not excited about this time of the year, I don't know what to tell you about this, but it's been an interesting last couple of years for one franchise in particular. The New York Knicks have gone through a lot. Knicks fans have just seen everything possible go on with their franchise over the last 10 years. I mean, they've been in the LeBron James sweepstakes not once but twice. They failed to get LeBron James. A couple years, going back is what I can't remember how long ago it was when the Heels were put together. The Knicks were in the hunt for LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. And no offense to Amari Stoudemire, they got stat that summer, and for a good part of the season, everything was going well for New York. The Knicks, New York was on fire with Amari and guys like Raymond Felton, Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari, and everything was going straight for the Knicks. Then the Carmelo Anthony trade happened, a couple years of success, and then Melo's gone. The franchise has been going through a horrible descent ever since. I mean, they had Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis was traded to Dallas, in a chance to try to acquire more draft picks, a better draft ranking, in the lottery situation. With no ping pong balls for the first time in years. The Knicks they had one of the worst teams in the NBA last season, and arguably the worst team in the league last year. And you look at the team, and the franchise was really looking forward to the summer. You had Kevin Durant sitting out there. You had Kyrie Irving, Kyrie being a New York kid, playing in the Garden. You had Kevin Durant looking to come out east. You had so many Kawhi Leonard. There's so many different possibilities of guys. Kemba Walker, another New York guy. There were so many free agents out there, and then the potential with the number 1 overall pick. New York was so buzzing they were going to get Zion. Well, it didn't exactly turn out the way they wanted. The Knicks didn't end up with the first overall pick. They ended up with the 3rd overall pick. Nothing wrong with that pick, but it wasn't first. They took R.J. Barrett, who I think is the most NBA-ready player at this point of all the rookies right now. And I'll get to R.J. in just a minute. Well, free agency comes. Well, before free agency happens, Kevin Durant tears his Achilles. Durant never really gave New York a second look. Kyrie Irving wanted to go to Brooklyn. So now Kyrie and Kevin Durant, when Durant comes healthy, is now in Brooklyn. Kemba Walker, he ends up in Boston. And all the free agents started falling in place, but none of them signed in New York. New York signs Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson, and Elfrid Payton to contracts. Also got Marcus Morris, and now they got Markieff Morris, and they got Morris, and the Knicks did not exactly have the summer that everybody wanted. But there is some bright side to this. The Knicks have a very good young core of guys from the previous season. You have Mitchell Robinson. You have Kevin Knox. You have Dennis Smith Jr. You have Alonzo Trier. So really, technically, the cupboard's not 100% bare in New York. The Knicks only signed these guys to the new free agents, with the exception of Randall, to basically 1-1 contracts. They all come off the books next summer. Next year's free agency class will not be good. So will not be the class that was this summer. The Knicks are pretty much waiting for 2021 when a guy named Giannis will be sitting out there. I'm not saying Giannis is coming to New York. Don't even quote me on that. He's just going to be the headline name for 2021 because we all know Anthony Davis is not coming anywhere near New York City. It's not happening. So what do the New York Knicks look like for 2019, 2020? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the roster right now. Let's start point guard. You have Dennis Smith Jr. as starting point guard. Frank Ntilikina as the backup. And Elfrid Payton was also brought in to help out the point guard trio. Now, Dennis Smith Jr. was a top 7, top 8 pick when the Dallas Mavericks picked him a couple years ago. Was expected to be the franchise player. Well, after year one, in an interesting first year, Dennis was kind of out of favor. They drafted Luka Doncic, who is now the franchise player in Dallas and has lived up to every bit of the hype. That left the Fayetteville, North Carolina, NC State product to figure out what's his next NBA career goal. Well, he went to New York. Well, he was supposed to be a stopgap situation because Kyrie Irving, the idea was always going to be Kyrie Irving or Kemba Walker or any one of these free agent point guards that would be coming their way, maybe even Terry Rozier. Well, now those guys came, and Dennis Smith and DSJ is still on the roster for another year. So what does that mean? Dennis has to take the leap now. This is his third year in the NBA. Like a lot of guys who are at the crossroads in their third year, it's make or break it time because next year is going to be year number 4. The Knicks will more likely pick up his option because it's not an expensive option, and he's going to be a point guard for next year or so. I mean, because like I said, the class of free agents next year is not going to be, it's not a deep class. And Elfrid Payton puts up numbers, but trust me, Elfrid Payton and his numbers are way different than Elfrid Payton and his actual production is your backup. And Frank Ntilikina has not shown anything in the NBA. So this is Dennis's best opportunity more than ever to become the guy we saw at NC State, the guy that had the bounce, the guy I compared to Steve Francis when he was in college. He has that type of ability. He could leap out of the gym. He just has to put it all together. If the Knicks are going to go anywhere, it's not Kevin Knox. It's not R.J. Barrett. It's on Dennis Smith Jr. If DSJ can actually turn that corner and become a better point guard, a guy that makes better decisions, shoots the ball better, can get his teammates involved, and just stay and keep the course, play good defense, and just keep his head in the game, he has a chance to actually be really good. Like he has a chance to be one of those most improved player candidates if he decides to put it all together. He has the talent. And I have to mention, David Fizdale is a really good coach. He has a full year in the system. Now it's time for DSJ to turn himself into the next level. Now, I guess the backup point guard situation is Elfrid Payton. Elfrid's bounced around the league the last couple of years. He was in New Orleans and he was in Phoenix. He played in Orlando. He's bounced around the league. This will be his 4th team in his NBA career. And Elfrid is good. Is a solid backup. He's not a starting point guard in the NBA. He's a decent backup. Still has issues shooting the basketball. He's a very good rebounder for his size, and he was very good defensively as a rookie. We thought he was going to be another version of Rajon Rondo. He had that type of defensive ability, but kind of has regressed defensively over the last few years. It's to the point where, he's not a turnstile defensively. He still can play defense, but he could be a lot better defensively than he's shown. And the other problem was if his defense isn't there, his jump shot's not going, then he's really no point being on the floor. Frank Ntilikina has been, to say disappointment it's overextending what I want to say. Frank Ntilikina has been a real disappointment in this league. He was drafted in the lottery, Phil Jackson's last lottery choice as running the Knicks, and it just hasn't panned out. It's been bad. I mean, the Knicks have given this guy every opportunity. He hasn't even shown what he can do. The problem is we don't know what he can do. And it's just, you don't know what you're getting with Frank Ntilikina. If he actually does anything, he does it defensively. He doesn't make a lot of plays at point guard. He's just not a very good shooter. And like I said, outside of his defense, he's pretty much not very good. And it reminds me of a lot of the point guard they had last year, Emmanuel Mudiay. I mean, this guy could really be out of the league in the next 2 years. I mean, it's really to the point where the Knicks are running out of patience. And who can you blame? I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, Ntilikina hasn't done much. It's not even the starting point guard for the French national team. And he plays in the NBA. That's an alarming situation. Who knows? The Knicks are in real bad shape when it comes to that one. At the shooting guard position, R.J. Barrett will be scheduled to start the season at the shooting guard position. Listen, R.J. Barrett is the best and most NBA-ready talent player of anybody in this class coming in the NBA this year. He is the most NBA-ready, but we're not even coming close to that. He can score right now in this league. He has a lot of Joe Johnson in him, and the guy, he's a lefty. He can create his own shot. Don't worry about Summer League. Summer League was just his getting used to the NBA. It's different. This is different than Duke. I've watched RJ play since high school. RJ is the real deal. Knicks fans will have, and not to mention, the guy wants to be in New York. He wants the pressure. He wants the spotlight. His godfather is Steve Nash. His dad played ball in New York City, and he played, I think it was St. John's. His dad played college ball in New York. If anybody is made for this city in this draft, it's RJ Barrett more than Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson would have been engulfed in that New York culture. He's a small town kid. He's not used to that. He's not used to all that media pressure. As good as Zion's going to be, RJ was a way better fit. He slides into the shooting guard position. Wayne Ellington's his backup. Ellington's a knockdown shooter. Everybody needs those. Alonzo Trier's also in that rotation. Trier probably will find some minutes somewhere. He is one of their best players on the team and should find minutes somewhere on this roster, whether it be the small forward or the shooting guard. They're going to find ways to get Alonzo Trier on the floor because Trier was really, really good last year. No one knew how good this guy was coming out of the second round, and he impressed. He might have been the most impressive Knicks rookie, maybe even more than Mitchell Robinson, because he came from nowhere, and he deserves minutes, and he should get minutes. I think he's the 7th or the 8th man off the rotation. In the rotation, he should find minutes somewhere. Ellington's more of a spot shooter, can also is going to give you the ability to knock down shots. But back to Barrett. Barrett's a star. Barrett will be a star in this league. He has every bit of makeup. If you've never seen this guy play, like I said, I've been the biggest RJ guy for the longest, and I will stay with this. He is more likely going to be the rookie of the year this year in the NBA. More than Ja Morant, more than Zion Williamson. RJ Barrett is the rookie of the year this year. He's the most NBA ready. Will he have the best NBA career? The jury's still out because there's a guy in Atlanta I mentioned in a previous podcast, Cam Reddish, that might have the biggest upside of anybody in the draft. Williamson's going to be good. Barrett's going to make the most impact right now. RJ is just ready. We've seen it on the stage before. He did it at Duke. Go back to his days playing for Team Canada in the World Cup, the World Juniors, where he dominated Team USA and be a team full of NBA guys who are potentially playing the NBA right now with that team. Back when he was 16, I was sold in. He is the face of Canada basketball. He is legitimately going to be a star. And like I said, he's made for this moment. At the small forward position, it's going to be Kevin Knox at that position right now. Knox had an up and down rookie season. He was inconsistent at times with his shot. He has a lot of potential. Now, Kevin Knox, will he be an all-star? No, he will not be one. But what he can do is he has the ability to hit shots, and we didn't see a lot of it this year. I mean, last year he did shoot 34% from the 3-point line, 37% from the floor, but a lot of that was really due to the base of he's a rookie. And when you're a rookie in the league, it just takes time. Not everybody, it doesn't work for everybody in the very beginning. And I'll give this guy this credit. He will shoot, and he's not afraid to shoot the basketball. He got better in Summer League. We saw him get better in Summer League, and the Knicks are going to give him a much more free reign. I think the gloves will be taken off. He'll have less gloves than he did as a rookie. He's going to develop. He's going to be a solid player. Is he going to be an all-star? No, he won't be. His backups will be Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris is a veteran. I mean, this guy is one of the veterans who's going to come in and teach Kevin Knox how to be a player in this league, the same with R.J. Barrett. He's going to be fine. Morris is a guy, like I said, he's a rough and tumble guy that he's just a guy that just gets things done. He's going to be really good in the locker room. There's a lot of kids in this team. His job is to make sure these kids are in line. They're going to see work ethic. Marcus Morris is a very, very good veteran. A very, very good signing. Now, he signed in San Antonio. Some things happened. He ended up in New York. Whatever the situation was, he's now in New York. There's no ill feelings between him and the Spurs. I think he did really well in San Antonio. It would change a lot of things. That'll be why I talk more about the Spurs in their podcast. But as far as the Knicks go, he's a veteran. He can hit shots. He plays good defense. He's hard-nosed. He's going to be a very good influence on those young kids. Behind both of them is Reggie Bullock. Bullock is going to be out for a good part of is injured, but like Wayne Ellington, Reggie Bullock does something very well. He hits shots. He's another guy that can knock down shots. When he gets healthy, he gets back to being Reggie Bullock. He's going to be another guy that David Fizdale can use coming off the bench. Now, the Knicks' big free agent signing this summer was Julius Randle. Randle will slide himself into the power forward position, the position that was supposed to be Zion Williamson, and this guy has the potential to be an all-star. Julius Randle is one of the most underrated players in the entire league. When I say Julius Randle could do a lot of things and do them very well, he does. First off, he's 6'9". He is a very, very good rebounder. He gets very good positioning and he will grab boards. He hustles. He scores the basketball extremely well and he could run the floor and he could facilitate. He does all that from the power forward position. But why is Julius Randle not an all-star? Well, Julius Randle at times forgets what defense looks like. Julius Randle does not understand. He doesn't have the concept of defense a lot of times. And that's just something that has been part of Julius Randle's DNA for a long period of time. He averaged 21 points and 8 rebounds a game in technically a bench/starter role with the Pelicans last year. He didn't start very many games. But, like I say, he started 49 games last year. But he really played a lot of starters minutes. He will run the break. He will do a lot of things. He's going to make Knicks fans very excited when he's on the floor offensively. It's just that defensive part that's going to be the problem. Good news is he has a rim protector behind him, and I'll talk about him in a second. But Randle, 21, 8, and 3, I don't see why he can't duplicate those numbers this year. And being in New York, he's going to have a lot of opportunities. He can score from anywhere on the floor. He shot 52%. He also extended his range out to the 3-point line. It's a 35% 3-point shooter last year. 34.5%, almost 35%. He doesn't shoot a ton of them, but he hits enough of them so you can basically respect it. He gets to the line. He got to the line almost over 6.5 times a game last season. Like I say, he shot 52% from the floor. He is a very, very good rebounder. One thing about Julius Randle is that he always rebounds at a high level. I mean, there's not been 1 year of his career where he's averaged under 8 rebounds a game. Not 1 year. He averaged 10 rebounds a game as a rookie, but rebound numbers have gone down because the scoring load's gone up. But he will get you rebounds. Now, behind him at the power forward position is another veteran, Taj Gibson, a guy that's been through the wars. He's played in so many playoff games, and the Knicks will love him because guess what? He provides energy, he provides toughness, and he's one of those no-nonsense guys that will say what he has to say, but he does it with his actions. Another guy that's going to help these young guys develop, and he's really pretty much a 1-year deal, well, 1-and-1. Could be something the Knicks can use at the trade deadline for a team that he's a veteran at the deadline. But for this group, he's going to be a guy that can play backup center. He can move a whole bunch of different directions, and he's just going to be versatile. A guy that David Fizdale will love to have, a guy who's a coach on the floor, a guy that's going to just show leadership by just playing. Now, at the center position, the Knicks have one of the best young centers in the NBA in Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson, in year number 2, could take, like I said, another one of those players that came under the radar, a second-round pick last year. But Mitchell Robinson can play the game. He's a very good rebounder for his size. He gets around the floor very well. But the one thing Mitchell Robinson does better than anything else, he's one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. And when I say shot blockers, he gets it. I mean, he gets it on both ends. I can't remember how many multiple block games he had last season. We had more than 4 or 5 blocks in the game last season. But I would say this: Mitchell Robinson gets after it. He gets after it better than anybody else in the entire league. He averaged almost 2.5 blocks a game and 20 minutes a game. He gets after it. Like, he gets after it better than nobody in business in the league. He has a humongously high motor. The problem is he gets himself in foul trouble pretty quickly. He had 15 games last year of 5 or more fouls. But when he's not getting himself in foul trouble, once again, he had 30 games of 3 or more blocks. 30 games of 3 or more blocks. He is going to be a shot blocking and erasing machine. Now, if he does get in foul trouble, the Knicks have went out and got Bobby Portis. Portis is not a center, but what Bobby Portis does is Bobby Portis is a walking double-double when he's actually in the game. Portis, when he actually gets playing time and gets a chance, can put up double-double numbers on a nightly basis. He is one of those guys that can do that. It reminds me of Enes Kanter. When Enes Kanter comes to the game, Enes Kanter gets points and rebounds. Doesn't do too much defensively, but he will provide you that scoring touch and he provides you rebounding. Portis can shoot from he can shoot anywhere inside the 3-point line. He has range out to the 3-point line, but he can hit the mid-range. He can do a lot of things offensively. He's got some pretty good post moves. Like Randall, they can score. Another scorer for the Knicks. Defense might be an issue with him, but another guy that can get after the glass. Portis could average 8-9 rebounds a game off the bench in minutes when he's given. So where are we looking at in New York? If we look at the Knicks roster, it's a hodgepodge. And yes, you have young guys. You have extreme amounts of young talent. When you have guys like R.J. Barrett, you have guys like Mitchell Robinson, you have Alonzo Trier, you have Kevin Knox, you have young guys Dennis Smith Jr., you have a good young nucleus. The question is, now you have some interesting veterans, Bobby Portis, you have Julius Randle, you have Elfrid Payton, you got Morris, you have an interesting group of veterans. Will they all be there by the end of the season? I don't think so. I think Gibson and Morris might get moved before the deadline to teams that contenders. I think that could be something that could be worked out between those teams and other teams that are trying to make the playoffs. But can the Knicks make the playoffs as roster? No, they're not a playoff team. There's just too many inconsistencies everywhere. Their teams with more talent. And really, to be honest with you, unless R.J. Barrett comes in and becomes an all-star as a rookie, and we're talking elite level, a high level all-star in his rookie season, and Kevin Knox turns into an 18-point a game scorer, like he has that potential to be, and Randall plays out of his mind, kind of like to say, if Julius Randle has the same effect on the Knicks that Amari Stoudemire had when Stat came to New York, that same type of fire, that same type of passion that can get his teammates involved. He's not the best shot blocker, but if he pulls that type of Amari Stoudemire impact, the Knicks could be a playoff team. I mean, if you look at the Knicks' ceiling, they could be maybe 10th in the East. I don't see them coming anywhere near the playoffs this year. That the ceiling is getting maybe 10th in the East. They won't be the worst team in the league, but the bottom part is they're going to be down there with Cleveland, Charlotte, and maybe even Washington as one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. There's a low part of the ceiling. They won't be the worst team in the Eastern Conference, but the ceiling is, I think they're more than 10th in the Eastern Conference, ceiling-wise. They have potential there. R.J. Barrett has a chance to become a star in this league. Kevin Knox has a chance to be a really, really good player. Mitchell Robinson has every bit of all NBA defense written in him, a defensive stud. I look at Mitchell Robinson and I see a lot of Tyson Chandler in him. He has that Tyson Chandler type of game where he can become very defensive minded. He can be a very, very good rebounder, has to learn how to keep himself in control, especially keep himself out of foul trouble, especially early in games. You got guys who can score in Portis and Randle, but really there's not a defensive stopper on this roster. Trier is a good defensive player. There's not one defensive stopper, and there's too many questions at point guard. We don't know where we're getting Dennis Smith Jr. So, like I said, the ceiling is probably 10th in the Eastern Conference. The basement bottom floor is you're looking at potentially being back as one of the 5 worst teams in the NBA this year. I see them as about a 26-27 win team this year. They'll be better than last year. R.J. Barrett will win the Rookie of the Year. I think Barrett has every chance to be the Rookie of the Year in New York, and he has the green light, and I think he's the one taking shots at the end of games because he's the best one-on-one player they have on the team right now. He's the one that creates his own shots, and he's a lefty, and he knows he can get to the free throw line. He just has to do it at NBA level and start getting those calls. Julius Randle, like I say, has a chance to be a 20-10 guy full time for the Knicks all season. But like I said, 25-26 wins is probably where the Knicks will probably end up. Like I said, ceiling will be right around 10, maybe 9 at the best, maybe 9-10 in the East. The bottom part, like I said, once again, is a little bit lower than that. I want to know your thoughts on the Knicks. It's not going to be an easy process for the Knicks to get back themselves to the playoffs. It's going to be maybe another 2 years before we see that. But do you agree with my thoughts on the Knicks? Can the Knicks make the playoffs? Are they the worst, or do you think they're the worst team in the league? Follow me on Twitter at Danny, DANNY 3 Thompson. Follow Around the Association through the website and on Facebook. Subscribe and share the podcast. It's free. We're dropping NBA content on a regular basis. This is my 30 teams, my 30 team preview. And like I said, this is something where we keep doing for the rest of the teams in the NBA. So I want to know your thoughts and feedback on everything else. So this is Around the Association, Full Court Press Radio on AroundTheAssociation.com. I'm Danny Thompson. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Yo, what up, DT? Let's get to it. Yeah. Hit him with the hook first. Full court press.